In this video, I'm going to show you my steps of designing levels and creating assets for my game. Welcome to Devlog 5 of Cloverskar. If this game seems like something you might like, consider supporting the development by adding the game to your wishlist on Steam. The link will be in the description. Before we get to the devlog, I would just like to thank all of you for helping me reach 1000 subscribers. It's been an amazing experience sharing my development so far, and I hope my devlogs continue to be entertaining and helpful for all of you, whether you're developing your own games or just tuning in to check how the game is coming along. So yeah, thank you all, and let's get back to the video. In my previous devlogs, I've talked a little bit about the overall approach I take with the visual presentation of my game. But in this video, I'd like to take a step back and show you how I design the assets and make them all fit together. As you can see, the assets in my game are hand-drawn, which is pretty much my favorite type of visual style, since I love traditional drawing with pencil and ink on paper. I also love playing hand-drawn games because the style and animation feels more alive and reminds me of old cartoons and comic book vibes. So the first step when working with this kind of art style is to take a paper drawing and turn it digital. But before we get into that, I'd like to actually show you a level which I've designed a long time ago, but I never ended up using it. The level you're seeing right now is the first level of my game, but this is the first level I actually came up with. So I don't really mind how this level looks, but the overall vibe didn't quite fit for what I was going for. In this game, the main story point is that the time is frozen and the world is stuck in endless nighttime. But this level was designed before I came up with the setting, and the color palette kinda looks too bright and warm for a night scene. So, since we are already talking about level design, I thought it might be a good idea to give this level another shot and to try to redesign the aesthetic to better fit with the rest of the game. Now, as I said, other than the colors not matching the theme of the game, I do actually like the level design here, so all I'm gonna be changing is the color palette. One thing to note, when I say the colors are too bright, I don't really mean bright, because the solution is definitely not to make the colors darker. That's just gonna make the game harder to see, and I don't think it's gonna solve our problem. The main thing that makes a scene look like a night level is not the brightness of the colors, but actually the hue. A simple thing we can do is simply shift the colors of the level from green to a more blue part of the spectrum, and the scene immediately becomes colder. What you're seeing right now is a hue shift effect I applied to the video, and I didn't touch the brightness at all, but it kinda looks darker anyway because of the cooler tones. Now I can go into Photoshop and do the same thing with the assets of this level. I'm going to shift the hue of the asset itself, just like I did to the video. And here we go, this is what it looks like in game without any effect on the video. So I think the level is now more usable with the visual style that goes along the theme of the game. Now we can take a step back and I'm going to show you how I create those assets that you saw me editing in the last section. But I'm going to be working with a new level here, which is going to bring the total number of levels designed to 3. The level I'm about to design is going to be the first level the player sees after leaving the starting area of the game. So here I have a drawing of an asset that I imported into Photoshop, and now I'm going to demonstrate how I can transform this photo of a paper drawing into an asset I can use in my game. The first step is always to turn the photo black and white, because we're going to extract the lines from the background. And to do that, we need all the lines to be completely black and the background to be completely white. That's why the next step is to go into the levels setting, which we can use to make the dark areas of the image even darker and the bright areas even brighter, which in this case increases the contrast between the lines and the background. This makes the lines more separated from the background, but there still might be a little bit of the paper visible and the lines might not be very smooth. To fix this, there's a pretty cool trick that we can do, where we blur the image slightly and then repeat the step with the level setting. We can do this a couple of times until the lines become smooth enough. After we repeat these steps a couple of times, this should get rid of any jagged edges and the lines should be separated nicely from the background. Another thing we can do with the blurred image is change the thickness of the lines based on how we adjust the sliders in the level setting. This is very useful if you want to change the size of an object in your game without messing up the edge thickness, which is definitely a common mistake in a lot of games, where some objects just look very out of place with inconsistent edges, which can really hurt the visual quality of a game. So it's very important to adjust the line thickness while creating the asset so that it fits well with the rest of the level. After I'm happy with the smoothness and the thickness of the lines, I go in with a brush for some additional tweaks. With this step, I try not to overdo it, since you do want to keep some smaller imperfections in your hand-drawn assets, because if everything is perfect, it can start to look a bit digital. Once the lines all look good, we can remove the white background from the image to prepare it for coloring. To remove the background from my drawing, I first make a new layer and create a mask on it. Then I select my drawing layer and press Ctrl A to select the entire layer and Ctrl C to copy. Then I select the mask on the layer above, and in the channels panel I make the mask channel visible. Next I paste my original layer onto the mask and paint the entire layer completely black. If I now invert the colors of the layer mask by pressing Ctrl I, and then delete the original layer, you can see that I'm left with only the black parts of my drawing. I can now apply the layer mask, and just like that, I've removed the background from my drawing. Now I can create a new layer underneath where I can paint the colors. With an asset like this, because this is supposed to be a wall, I also need to create edge tiles, and then I can place any combination I want inside my level. So using this method, I create all the necessary assets for my level, and then it's time to assemble them in Unity. So here's the sprite sheet of the wall I was just working on, and I've also created sprite sheets for the ground tiles and some minor decorations. This is gonna be enough to get started working on this level, but there still will be a bunch of assets I'm gonna need to design for the decoration and whatever interactive elements I decide to put in this level. I'm actually gonna have to leave that part for one of the next devlogs, since this video has already taken quite a long time to make and I really want to post something just to share an update, so the rest of this level is gonna have to wait. I really like how this level is turning out so far. It's quite simple for now, but I'm really excited to see what it's gonna look like after some decoration and polish. With the visual design part of these two levels getting close to done, I think the game is getting around the point where I need to start working out the layout of the demo version of the game, which is really exciting because I'm really looking forward to releasing the demo. So, thanks for watching. Remember to leave a like on this video and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, if you want to support the game directly, consider adding it to your wishlist on Steam.